say something about it in your part of the process. Now, what does this lead us to? I'm going to read a definition. And I rather like this definition. It's the definition of a structural deficit. Structural deficit is a deficit, basically, that's going to exist even after this economic crisis is over. So even when our economy recovers, we're still going to be burdened with that debt. Now, the reason this is significant to me is because the Recession Relief Coalition has advocated so well. The first people that struggle from a recession is that lower income bracket. And if we continue on this pace and have a longer structural deficit, those people will continue, those brackets will continue to be put in a bad situation. They'll continue to have more stress, and the problem is going to spiral down. So I really think we need to take an opportunity, and there are a lot of issues that I have to talk about, so I do have a lot of paper, bear with me. So the first thing that I wanted to address was EI reform. As past governments have decreased the usefulness of EI in the 1990s, we want to look forward and really revamp it. At the time in the early 1990s, 82.9% of unemployed workers could access EI. By 1997, that number was reduced to 43.8%. Workers had to work longer hours to qualify, and the payments shrank. Ian Lee, the director of the Stratton School of Business, stated that spending on EI is especially effective in stimulating the economy, as the recipients spend almost every cent on essential items. This is one measure that does not require any new money either. The alarming thing to me is that the EI fund used to be over $50 billion surplus. It now stands at a reported $10.9 billion deficit. What's alarming is the way they plan to recoup that money. And the federal Conservatives do plan to raise premiums on employers and workers for EI premiums and CPP premiums. We think that is absolutely unjust. That money was used by previous governments to do a variety of things, and I believe there was auditors that called that a misappropriation of funds, and I think that the worker and the employer should not be penalized for that. As the Green Party, we want to reduce EI premiums to the employer and the workers by 1/3. We want to restore EI to the worker support system it was back when it was called unemployment insurance. This is one measure, again, that does not need any new money for us to do. During this time of need, and until the unemployment rate dips below 6%, we will provide EI benefits retroactively without imposing additional premiums to all those who've lost their jobs since November 2008 and who have paid EI for at least 3 months. We will urge that EI benefits last for 52 weeks if necessary, longer if the recession carries on. And we would also advocate for a universal number of hours to qualify during this time. The other big issue that comes up with this, I am from Whitby, Oshawa. CAW is in my backyard. My neighbors are CAW workers, and I see firsthand how that impacts the rest of the community. And I've been really honored to spend a lot of time with them talking about CPP and talking about the pension reforms that we need to see. As the Green Party, we would increase the guaranteed income supplement for seniors by 25%. We would review the federal and provincial laws regulating the administration of pension plans, laws which now allow failure of pension trusts and the loss of pension benefits. Basically, what's really important to me is that my grandfather lost his pension. He was a truck driver for a really long time, and he really thought his whole life that he was doing the right thing. He's a very meticulous man. He would cut his lawn with scissors, and he paid into his pension. And the look on his face when he knew he would never receive any of that, and my grandmother and him would be in a bad situation, was devastating. He really did feel betrayed by the system, and he learned that was protecting him over the time. So I think it's essential as a government that we need to stand up and ensure that pensioners are the first creditor that are paid back when a company goes bankrupt and those pensions are in jeopardy. Now, when it comes to health and poverty, this is another issue that's very important. When I was a little girl, I knew that in school we were pretty healthy. I knew there was one girl that had asthma out of 300 students in our school, and everybody knew it. Now, 1 in 5 children have asthma. And there's a disproportionate amount of people with asthma in lower income areas, as well as diabetes. And this comes from not having access to nutritious food, not having access to a lot of the services that we take for granted in more developed areas. As the Green Party, we create a federal healthy community initiative that community organizations working towards innovative and local projects addressing health and environmental issues at the local level would be able to We would also institute a GST health benefit reduction for those products and services that are designated to have a health benefit.
Avvy, say hello.
Well, I'm wondering where all the homeless is. God bless.
That has come up, and I think it's a very integral issue. We do advocate for the inclusion of a clause in the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms that specifically states that anyone living in Canada is entitled to safe shelter or affordable housing. We would urge the government to appoint a Minister of Housing to oversee the development and implementation of a national affordable housing plan. This would again go back to the accountability and transparency of the policy that we want to protect. We would require said plan to set an annual rate of building affordable housing so that access to affordable housing is no longer a factor in homelessness by 2019. We would create a national affordable housing program that provides sufficient funds annually to the CMHC to community-based agencies across Canada. And we would build new subsidized homes, 20,000 new and 10,000 rehabilitated affordable units per year for the next 10 years. And if we want to eliminate poverty in those areas, we have to support the local organizations in that way. As the Green Party, we will help to fund and create social programs in areas like local community gardens and cultural development programs. We would also support multicultural communities by assisting cultural organizations to obtain charitable status. One of the last things I want to get to today is child poverty. Again, this is what I advocated for when I wasn't a politician, and it's something that really affects me. I was 6 years old when the declaration was made to eliminate child poverty, and now I'm thinking about having my own children, and that's just not the case. There's still child poverty. 15% of children in Canada live in poverty. That is 1 million children that wake up every day disadvantaged by their financial situation. To me, that's unacceptable in a country like Canada. We need to learn from countries like Denmark, Finland, and Norway that have made a similar commitment and have kept child poverty rates below 3.5%. Part of this is giving the ability to parents to provide for their children. We would extend maternity and paternity leave for new parents outside of EI to 2 years, and for those who have paid into EI 3 years. We would top up income support for single parents on welfare during a time when they're attending school or job training programs to find a better job. As a first step toward a guaranteed annual income policy, which I personally think is a commitment that all parties should stand alongside each other and support and look into. You have Conservative Senator Hugh Segal who backs it, and it's what we need to be looking at in the future. As a first step towards that, we would provide $5,000 a year to adults receiving provincial welfare checks. My last thing to say to you today is about human rights. I just want to let you know that poverty is a human right, is an essential way to get all parties to work together to focus on a solution. Thank you.